We all make plans, right? And some of us, we make really detailed, meticulous plans. But what happens when life just decides to throw a massive wrench in the works? That's what we're going to dive into today. A powerful lesson in resilience for when everything goes completely off script. I mean, you've got to love that Mike Tyson quote, right? It just perfectly sets the stage. It's not really about if your plans will get challenged, it's about when. So the real question is, how do you handle that punch? Let's dig into a real-world story to see how it can play out. Okay, so it all kicks off with what seems like the perfect plan. Picture this, a super organized business trip from Spain all the way to the US. The main goal, sure, was to deliver a keynote speech in Boston. But the agenda was packed with so much more than just that. So you can see, this was never just about giving one speech. The whole idea was to squeeze every last drop out of the time abroad. Basically, maximize face-to-face time and spend like zero time just sitting in the hotel room. This was basically an extrovert's dream trip. And the priority, it was super clear. Get out there, connect with people in person over everything else. The thinking was, hey, if you're in a new city, you've got to grab every chance you get to actually meet people. Sounds like a solid plan, right? Well, and here comes the punch. Because, as we all know, reality has a funny way of intervening. In this case, something totally unexpected happened that just threw that entire beautiful itinerary into complete chaos. And look, the problem wasn't something simple like a missed flight or a scheduling mix-up. It was getting really, really sick on the way over. And we're not talking about a 24-hour bug here. Nope, this thing stuck around for the entire week and just completely derailed the whole trip. I mean, look at this contrast. On one side, you've got this awesome, ambitious plan, all about connection. And on the other, the harsh reality of being stuck in a hotel room, having to cancel literally everything. It was the absolute opposite of what was intended. So, out of that whole jam-packed schedule, only one thing actually happened, the keynote. But man, it took everything. It was one of those things you just power through on pure adrenaline. And then the second it's over, you crash. Straight back to bed, a single victory in a week full of canceled plans. So you're faced with this incredibly frustrating situation. What do? Well, this is where the whole story takes a turn. It stops being about the external problem, being sick, and becomes all about an internal shift in mindset. It's about finding a little bit of control when everything feels like chaos. And the philosophy that really helps here is Stoicism. It's such a powerful idea, right? You can't control the external stuff that happens to you, but you always, always have control over how you choose to respond to it. You can't choose not to get sick, but you can definitely choose how you deal with it. And that brings us to this one simple question that's at the heart of Stoicism. So instead of getting stuck on all the frustrating things you can't do, you flip the script and focus only on what you can do. So, in this situation, what was actually in my control? Well, the answer was to focus on the things that were actually controllable, like how you respond to being sick, actively taking the time you need to get healthy, doing the right things to rest, and just letting your body recuperate. Turns out, the only productive thing to do was let the body heal. And this forced pause, it actually led to a really important realization. It wasn't just random bad luck. It was a signal. It was about learning to finally listen to what the body was trying to say. And honestly, the signal couldn't have been any clearer. In our culture of go, 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 we're basically trained to just push through and ignore these signals. But the truth is, sometimes the most productive thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Just stop and rest. And something else happened. This whole challenge forced a major rethink of priorities. It's funny, when you're pushed to your absolute limit, the things that truly matter suddenly become crystal clear. And here, it became obvious. Family and health shot right to the top of the list. All that other stuff, the work, the meetings, the networking, all of it could wait. Okay, so how do we take this one story and turn it into a lesson for all of us? Let's lay out a really practical framework for being resilient that you can use the next time your own plans get, punched in the mouth. All right, first things first, you have to acknowledge how you feel. It is 100% okay to feel frustrated or angry or upset. Those feelings are totally valid. Don't try to just push them down. The real key, though, is not to get stuck there. So once you've let yourself feel that frustration, you make a pivot, and you do it by asking this one simple question. And trust me, this is a total game changer. It's that thought of, okay, I didn't choose this, and yeah, it's really annoying, but what can I do right now to make the best of the situation? And here's the really comforting part. All that work you're missing, the meetings you have to cancel, listen, in the grand scheme of things, that stuff can be rescheduled. It really can. Your health is the foundation. You take care of that first, and the rest will fall into place. So we'll leave you with this final thought. Your plan, my plan, at some point it will fail. It's just inevitable. So the only real question is, what's your next thought going to be? Are you going to get stuck on the broken plan? Or are you going to ask yourself, okay, how can I make the best of this? Because really, your answer to that one question, that changes absolutely everything.